Live on WFLA Now. This is Run for Fun with running enthusiast Lee Spann.
All right, welcome back to the Stream Center for this week's episode of Run for Fun. The show is designed not to focus on just being a faster runner, but finding the love and the joy in the sport, because we often say it's really all about showing up. And if you enjoy something, you keep showing up, and that is the key to being a stronger runner. So I'm meteorologist Lee Spann here at WFLA in Tampa, but I've also been running pretty consistently now for about 14 years, and for too many of those years, I ran as hard as I could for every run, and I didn't eat enough, and I didn't stay hydrated enough, but I was fortunate to find a group of people and a community that showed me all the things that we like to talk about on this show, and I'm a better person and a better runner because of that. And one of the people, of course, that brought all this wonderful information to me, my coach, Coach Maria. Welcome back.
Hello, Lee. How was your vacation?
It was good. I got to wear new cold running gear. So I was up in Cleveland. I bought, extra shirts. I got cool new running gloves and hats. And what I did buy the things that you put on your shoes for more grip, but it didn't snow while I was running.
Yeah.
It was cold. It was, felt like the teens, but, I felt there were times where running with the wind, I'd be like, oh, it's hot. And then I'd turn around and zip everything back up, put my hat back on, put my gloves back on, because going into the wind was significantly colder.
It sure is. I'm proud of you. Like that's very different than running here. That's where I learned how to slow run, actually. It was in Boston, because I'd been in Memphis training, and then I moved to Boston, back to Boston, and it was the snowiest winter on record, and I was like, oh no, I don't know what to do. And then I went to a BAA meeting, and they were like, you better get off the treadmill. And so I was like, I did 40 miles on the treadmill one week.
Oh,
I didn't want to go outside. So then I got outside, and you can't run as fast on the snow.
Right.
You have to run slower. And so I was running like a minute per mile slower, and I had my fastest Boston that year. So I was like, oh, maybe there's something to this.
sometimes you got to.
Maybe I should listen to my coach.
And but I will be, what do you do if it's slippery? I mean, do you just, do you change your gait? Do you just really just have to maybe?
Yeah. I mean, I used to run in the roads. If it's snowy, it's not too bad, but you do have to worry about the ice underneath, because that can be kind of scary. Yak tracks. Is that what you were talking about, that you bought the yak tracks? Some people use those. My old coach, she lives in Wisconsin. She uses those. I never really, sometimes I wore trail shoes.
Okay.
Wasn't bad.
It was, I bet, believe me, and the runs since I've been here in the 40s and 50s, way better.
Yeah. I think the worst part for me was like the hands and the feet, keeping those warm.
And I haven't, again, this is not the topic of the show today, but my hands really sweat and get really warm. And so I'm constantly taking off my gloves, letting my hands kind of cool down, and then putting the gloves back on, because my hands are actually surprisingly really warm.
What was the temperature?
And like I said, the feels like temperature was about 16 or 17.
Yeah, that's not horrible.
Yeah, but it was
under
the temperature,
10. The hands get really, but that's okay. You just wear wool socks. Tip. Just wear wool socks on your hands.
That's what. Yes, I did not have to go that far. Okay, so we're getting ready for the Gasparilla Distance Classic this weekend, and we want to bring in our guest for today, which is Tia Pettigrew, and Tia is a running coach. Good morning, Tia.
Good morning.
And you will be out pacing some of the Gasparilla Distance Classic races this weekend.
All of them.
All four of them. So how many miles does that end up?
30.5.
Over 2 days.
Yes.
So what is your pace group? What do you have to?
I'm pacing 2:15 for the half, so that's a 10:18 pace, and then 10:30 for the other races.
Okay, good.
So everyone, if
you're in that pace group, go find Tia. She's very good and very experienced at this. She's always fun to watch. Every Gasparilla.
This will be my 10th year pacing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's wonderful.
And do you pace even splits, or how do you?
Even splits, yeah.
And do you do that by your watch, or do you just know by feel at this point?
It's a little bit of both. So because the weather is so different, so some years when it's kind of crazy and hot and humid, you really have to go by your watch. But when it's decent, like it looks like it's going to be this weekend, pretty much can go by feel a lot.
And so what we're bringing to you in, of course, we're in celebration of Black History Month. We wanted to talk about Black Girls Run. It's a national organization with local chapters, and you're a member of the chapter. Can you tell us a little bit about its mission and its goals and things like that?
Certainly. Yeah, Black Girls Run was established in 2009, and the whole goal was to promote a healthy, active lifestyle for Black women. And we are celebrating 15 years, actually. They have a national conference this year in Chicago in September, so to celebrate that. And it's been amazing because when I first started running, I remember, like, I've been running for about 15 years, and I would go to a race, and if someone was looking for me, I would literally say, oh, I'm easy to find. I would, like, touch my skin. I'm really easy to find because there just weren't that many of me. And now it's amazing what they've done with the sport, that there are so many more, Black women, just Black people out there at these races.
That's awesome. Yeah, like you guys are huge in some of these races now. That's awesome.
Yeah, we've got, I want to say we'll probably have over 300 at the Gate River Run. It's a national
awesome.
meetup. So they just had the Best Damn Race was a national meetup, and they had over 100 from all over the country.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
I saw you guys they were taking a picture together. All the Black Girls Run, and I was like, giving them a round of applause because there were a lot of them on the course, and so it was a beautiful day for BDR and beautiful experience.
Yeah, I'm super proud to represent them. I've served as their national coach since 2017. And it really has been amazing seeing women that have done nothing to, from couch to running multiple marathons and, so many things. It's so rewarding.
And what got you involved with it? I know you were already running, obviously, before 15 years ago.
It's interesting. In 2010, I ran my first half in 2009. And in 2010, at the Women's Half Marathon in St. Pete, which they don't have anymore, Catherine Switzer was there. And, the marathon woman,
amazing.
She was there. And, we were in line for her to sign. And she pulled me aside. And she asked me, she said, I'm curious, do you know why there aren't more Black women in the endurance?
I was literally going to ask that.
Yeah.
She
'cause
asked
we see
me
a lot
that.
in sprint.
And I was
in
like,
sprint,
I didn't know. And then it was just a few months later where I was introduced to Black Girls Run. And I remember at the end of 2012, I became an ambassador, or 2013, I became an ambassador because they didn't have a real active ambassador for Tampa. So I became an ambassador in 2013. And I really rallied. I connected with Black Girls Run in Orlando, and we had the Iron Girl race. And in 2013, I want to say there were probably 8 of us at Iron Girl. In 2014, we had over 150 and one largest team. So at that point now, races were reaching out to us, saying, we want you to come to our race, which was awesome.
And what do you see when the women join? Is it something that they, have they ever been exposed to long distance running before? Is that why do they gravitate toward Black Girls Run?
Most have not been exposed to long distance running, and it really is a matter of seeing people that look like you, and knowing that you can go and feel included because. There's a lot of great running groups all over the country in Tampa, and most of them will say everyone is welcome, but everyone doesn't always feel welcome.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I would say that they just feel like, I feel like I belong here. And you branch out, with Black Girls Run. I'm part of Black Girls Run. I'm part of several running groups. But I think most of them, maybe a friend started because one of their mission statements is no woman left behind. So when someone joins their first meetup, they're not going to be left behind, even if they're a walker. And I love that.
Yeah, I love that too. We struggle with that in some of our run groups.
And, also the health aspect. I mean, it's not just being a part of a group. I mean, the African Americans, often they're scared. They don't go to the doctor as often. They don't do the health things as much. And so this is a great catalyst for that because it's so much fun to get in shape.
Exactly. Yeah. African American women are more prone to obesity and high blood pressure and so many different preventable health issues. So just getting out there is, it starts that lifestyle. And then when you see someone that they get their friend or their sister or their mother or their daughter, other people in their family active, it's just amazing.
And then that passes down to the kids too.
Exactly.
And the kids want to be more involved. That's so great.
Generational health is what it does. Because you see mom out there.
I got my mom out there. She did her first 5K when she was 68.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I know that, even spectators seeing more of people that look like them out on the race course will inspire more people to want to get out there.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And what do you see as the difference? I know that Catherine Switzer was kind of asking you this, but like what Marie was saying, sprinters in the track world, there are a lot more African Americans. So what do you think holds them back from the longer distances?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I really think that, again, just not seeing that representation. And so now when you start seeing more of them, like, Meb Keflezighi, winning the Boston Marathon, so became more, and of course, since he lives in Tampa, but seeing people like that doing those longer distances and seeing that it's attainable to do it. And just, it takes one to do one. It takes one, do one, do another one, then another one, and you inspire someone else. And people tell me I help get people to drink the Kool-Aid. So if you can run a 5K, you can do a half.
And that's pretty much how just about everyone starts long distance running. I mean,
Right.
how did you come into the longer distances?
I came into the longer distances. So December 2008, my husband and I were on a cruise, ran into someone I hadn't seen in about 3 years. And she said, "Oh, Tia, I almost didn't recognize you. You gained so much weight."
Oh my gosh, she did.
Love you, Melody.
Note to everybody, never say that.
But it was what I needed to hear at the time.
Oh,
so
I would cry. I don't think I would be able to function.
Oh, I was so upset. But when I got home, I had run the Gasparilla 15K in 1996. That was my longest and only run. And I hadn't run since. That was 1996. Now we're in end of 2008. So as soon as we got back from that cruise, I signed up for that same Gasparilla 15K. Now I'm 40, and I actually enjoyed it. And then I decided I wanted to run a half marathon. And so that was what led me to my first half in 2009.
And that's what brought Catherine Switzer to you. And the ball has then kept rolling.
It has kept rolling.
And you know how many half marathons you've run, right?
Yes, 168.
168.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, 169, because Gasparilla will be 170. That's
okay. Oh, that's fun. And during that time, I know Maria wants to talk to you about your training for the Boston Marathon. So you've done multiple marathons, but you had a goal for this year, last year.
Yes. I had a goal to qualify for the Boston Marathon. It was a goal that had been set, and etched in my head since 2010.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So you want to ask her how she did it?
So what was the catalyst to choose this year? Like, why did you just felt like you were in shape, or?
It really was. I hadn't raced a marathon since 2014.
Which is actually kind of incredible.
I ran Space Coast was the last. No, Grandma's was the last one I actually raced in 2014. And I hadn't run a marathon since Chicago 2017. But me and my girlfriend, we just had fun.
Yeah.
Okay, we did not go for time at all.
2014, was that
day.
when we went with Run Tampa? Did we go?
I don't think it was with Run Tampa. No, that was after. They went after that.
Okay, yeah, because it was hot, so it was.
Yeah, it was perfect the year I did it. Yeah,
I love
but I got
Grandma's.
muscle
That's
spasms.
a great race. Note to everybody.
It really was. Yeah, I got muscle spasms at mile 21, and that kind of took me out.
Yeah.
So in 2020, end of 2021, 22, I started running these half marathons and under 2 hours without really training or really trying. And I was like, let me try this again. So in the spring of, I want to say around March, April 2022, I decided I wanted to go for it at a race in March 2023. So I decided a year early that
awesome.
that was going to be my time frame. So
And notice she said she knew she was in the shape by her half marathon, guys. She didn't just pull it out and was like, "Oh, hey, I know I can do this." Like, she had results to show that she was capable of it.
right.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So then you spent the whole year kind of working toward that? No.
I wish I could say that. But I spent pretty much most of the later spring and summer with an Achilles issue.
Oh, no.
So I hardly ran at all. And my goal was to start training the end of October. And I just didn't even think it was going to be possible because every time I would push off, it would hurt.
Yeah.
And so thankfully, I was able to find an amazing physical therapist. Thank you, Grant. And I saw him October 4th, October 11th. I'm weird with dates, so.
You got them all down.
Right. October 4th, I saw him the second time, October the 11th. And that weekend, October 14th, 15th, I ran the Detroit Free Press pain-free.
Wow.
And I was able to start my training at the end of October. So
That's
like I
awesome.
planned.
And that was a full marathon? The Detroit,
No, I just did the half.
Okay,
Yeah, I did the half.
Yes,
but
no,
I hadn't
no
run
pain.
pain-free
Yeah.
in a long time at
Now-
that point.
Tell me the process you went through to pick your race and because qualifying that's tough. So
Right.
talk to me about that.
So I knew the weekend I wanted, the first weekend of March. And I wanted that weekend because I knew there were multiple good qualifying races that weekend and a lot on the East Coast because I really didn't want to have to go to the West Coast and do time change and all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff
that's
if
a
I
lot.
didn't have to. But I did have 2 of them on my radar, Napa Valley and SoCal. So I found 7 races that looked good. And I decided I wasn't going to pick a race until I knew what the weather was going to be like. So
My heart is fluttering right now.
I had 20 hotels booked and
She's talking my love language.
and I'm checking them and everything. But I didn't even really think about which race until I want to say I was a month out. Then I really started tracking the weather. And I think I had like 4 weather apps I was tracking. And I did.
Now you're speaking my love language.
Right?
So
Yeah, I'm sure.
My heart is fluttering.
Right. Believe me, if I would have had your cell phone, you would have been sick of me. Like, what's it going to be? So I had all these hotels booked. I knew one of the issues that could happen is that a race could sell out. So I know Napa Valley sold out. So that was crossed off the list. I ran the St. Petersburg Distance Classic for my long run. I did like a 21 miler there and it was really windy. And so I thought about Myrtle Beach, which was one.
Which is
But
often windy.
Right. My husband qualified there.
Yeah.
But I was afraid of the headwind, so I crossed that one off.
Like this hurt too
After
much.
that, yes. SoCal just didn't seem as organized as I wanted. So I was left with Newport News, Coast Guard in North Carolina, Combos, Albany, Georgia, and I'm trying to think Woodlands, Texas, and one in Woodlands, Texas. Those were like my final 4. And Coast Guard, they closed their registration 10 days before.
Interesting.
So cross that one off because I
Yeah.
wasn't ready to register. And I hadn't registered for anything. So
Good for you. Like this is
Isn't this
it
made me
start-
so happy.
Yeah, it does, but it also makes me like have heart palpitations because I'm like, how do you mentally prepare? But that's part
Again,
of
all the courses were good. So
and that's pivoting.
yeah.
Like that's really what you have to do if you want to qualify sometimes.
Right. So I started posting. I would do these charts, and I would post weather. Each race, high, low, humidity, dew point, wind, precipitation chances. And so everyone, they were all kind of looking good. And I cut across Coast Guard. So I was down to Woodlands, Combos in Albany, Georgia, and Newport News in Virginia. And Combos would have been the easiest logistically because we could drive there.
Yeah.
And we could just drive and go back. But it was trending a little bit warm.
Yeah, that's a tough race.
Yeah. So I crossed that one off and I decided, the race weekend was going to be like March 4th, 5th. And I decided on February 28th, that was going to be the day I would make my choice. So the last day of February. So I looked at the weather and Woodlands looked good. I want to say Woodlands was showing
Woodlands
good.
is often good.
Yeah, so it was showing like 44 for the low, 70 for the high. Albany was now in the 60s for the low.
Oh.
And then Newport News was like 40 for the low, 50 something for the high. So
nice.
I pulled the trigger on Newport News because I said, even if it trends a little bit more, the high is still decent. So
Won't warm up during the race.
exactly,
So much.
yeah. So Newport News was the race.
That's awesome.
I was
love
following
the
you on
way you did that.
Facebook because I after all because I knew that you had you were picking the races and you were doing this. I had never thought to do this because we always think, we put all this effort into this race and now it's
Right.
bad weather and now now I have to wait till the next race. I was like, or hear me out. You can do what Tia did and just and know that
Be flexible.
You be flexible.
Well, and what I appreciate about what you did, because what you did was very hard on a couple levels that I appreciate because you're a coach as well. She put it all out on Facebook.
Yep, she did. I watched
and
it.
I was like, wow, like that takes mental fortitude to be like, I'm doing this, guys, and I might fail, and I'm gonna do it anyway, and I'm gonna. So
You didn't fail.
Kudos to you. You did
I
not
did think
fail.
about keeping it to myself, but that's just not me.
Yeah.
I
Well,
like to have everyone with me.
Yeah, and it that takes strength. I love that. Like, and your pictures were beautiful, and we all went along with you, and we were all like, "Yay, she qualified for Boston!"
It was the best
fun to watch.
experience. It really
fun.
was. I mean, I was so afraid. The biggest thing I was afraid of was getting the muscle spasms because I tended to get them at the longer distances at faster paces. So I started taking like some magnesium up in that. And I decided, for the race, I found these little, I can't remember what they're called, these little things you can get them for like a couple bucks, little anti-cramp things. So I took a little bottle with me, took them before the race, had the bottle, put the little bottle in my back pocket. And because it was always around mile 20, 21 or so that it would happen. And so I remember as I was getting close to there, I said, well, I'm going to take my little pills, the little anti-cramp things at mile 19. I went to go grab them out of my back pocket. And because it was cold and the sweat, it turned to dust.
Oh, wow.
I would have taken and looked like I was like having cocaine or something like that all over my. I feel like that's how I'm going so fast. Right? So I
that's
got
how
rid of
I
them.
qualified.
Right. So I just threw that away, and I was literally every time I would get to a mile marker, I would say thank you God for getting me to mile 16 or mile 17, and I just kept going, and I have to say it was the easiest marathon I ever ran. I ran the last mile. I think it was one of my fastest miles, my last couple miles. So I just it was just amazing. That's why I say God was with me.
And your husband was there. He took a lot of pictures.
He put the best video too.
We got to follow her on Facebook, and the pictures were, it was watching
awesome.
your face, crossing the finish line.
So fun.
It was
the
great.
professional pictures. I couldn't believe they captured that.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. It was great.
It was a great
for us all to
experience.
watch. We all had
So,
fun.
congratulations. Are you getting
Thank you.
excited?
I'm so excited. 55 days.
Yeah, I know exactly how many days.
Now,
55
how many?
days.
Do you know what the percentage of runners that Boston runners that are black?
I know it's less than 1%.
Wow.
It's definitely less than 1% because there's a group called Black Unicorn Marathoners.
Okay.
And so they celebrate everyone. So they actually do a procession and a whole thing. I'm so excited to be a part of it there. And so when I look at the picture from last year, and it's still, while it's a nice size group, it's still such a tiny percentage of the 30,000 runners that are there.
Wow. Yeah. And
How
but
cool that you
hopefully-
get to be a part of that.
I will,
So
yeah,
cool.
definitely. Well, I had a friend, my friend Chateau, she ran Boston, I want to say 2005. And, when I didn't make it the first time, I remember she told me, she said, Tia, don't give up running Boston. She said, there needs to be more Black women that qualify for Boston. And I always remembered that. And so when I did qualify, she was one of the first calls I made to call her and thank you for keeping that in my mind, because it's one of those things where if I can do it, someone else may feel like they can do it.
Absolutely.
And then you're a coach, so you are helping people.
Yes.
Even in your clients, does your client base have more African Americans because you are?
Probably so.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a pretty diverse client base, but I've had people Google a running coach, and I remember one woman, she said, I picked you because you look like me.
Very, very helpful.
Yeah.
And so tell us how you're going to celebrate when you get to Boston. What's your plan?
Oh, I'm doing anything that's available.
Yeah.
I'm doing. I've got it. I've booked dinner. Because I have
When
to
are
have
you when are you going to be there?
Friday through Tuesday.
So you have to meet us at the elite races on Saturday morning.
Okay.
We
I'm
watched
doing the
the-
5K.
Yep. After
Okay.
the 5K, you go over by the finish line, and they do the elite mile.
Oh.
And they have all the kids from each town that the course runs through. They all
Wow.
compete to try to do a mile as fast as they can. And it's like 3 city blocks, so you get to see them come through 3 times. It's the most fun thing to watch on the
Wow, I
weekend.
hadn't heard about that.
And they're,
It's so
and they're
fun.
young kids or
High school kids.
High school kids.
And
okay.
then at the end, they do an elite men's mile and an elite female mile. And it's so fun to watch. You get to see them.
Oh, that looks
And you get to be
fun.
really up close with them. It's so fun. So
Yeah, and I'm excited. I get to be with one of your clients, Maria, Beth.
Yeah,
Beth and
yeah.
I, it's both of our first time, so we're going to be like the oldest little kids there.
yeah. That's perfect.
And speaking of that, so for those of you if you don't know, the Boston qualifying times go down as you get older because it gets harder. So
Wait. Repeat that again, Lee, because people don't understand that. It gets harder to run
yes,
when you get older, because people always say to
harder
me,
to run.
Coach, I'm just going to wait till I'm 70. I'm like, it's going to be harder.
Right, because you'll be 70.
It's the same amount of hard for everybody. That's why they
right.
have the qualifying times. Go
Right.
now.
It's still hard, and
Yes.
so it doesn't matter what age you're doing it. But
Yeah.
are you proud of your age and getting out there and making
I
that?
am.
Yeah.
I mean, I beat the PR that I beat, I was 42 when I had that PR, and I was 54 when I beat it. So
That gives me
I
so
was
much hope.
pretty
Yes.
happy because
It
I had a
gives me so much
402
hope.
was my best time, and I needed a 405 for the 55 to 59 age group. And so my focus was 359 to get a good 6-minute buffer or so. So that was my focus, and I did a 353. So I was really excited
You
to see
blew
the goal.
past
So
it.
yeah, I had
Yeah.
almost a 12-minute buffer.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, I know that
You needed it this year too.
Yes, 529 was the
Yeah.
buffer.
It was
Wow.
really hard to get into, and it's going to be harder.
Yeah, they had 11,000 people that didn't get in that qualified.
Yeah.
But now, as Maria has said, you will can always say that you Boston qualified.
Yes.
Yes.
Even
if you didn't run it.
didn't make it the cutoff to get to the race, you
Yeah.
Boston qualified. You ran that race at the specific time that you needed to.
If I wouldn't have made the buffer cutoff, I was still going to figure a way to run Boston,
You would have-
whether
Yeah.
charity or getting a bid
Yeah.
from somewhere.
Yeah.
But I would have run Boston,
Yeah.
no matter what.
It is there? Do you have a time, or is this going to be a joyful run?
Victory lap.
Yes.
I love
Okay,
it.
high-fiving
I love
everybody,
it.
enjoying it. What's the time limit? I'll take it all. No.
Yeah.
Enjoy every step.
I just want to enjoy it. So I don't really have a time limit. I just want to take it as it goes and just enjoy it.
That's awesome.
Is there as someone, Maria, who has run it, is there a tip that you can? Is there a part that's harder than others to look out for? Or easy?
Boston is a very technical course. The first time I ran it, I remember being like, which one of these is heartbreaking?
Oh no!
Like there's so many hills that you're like, oh gosh.
I know everybody says to watch the downhill in the beginning.
Yeah, the downhill in the beginning. It still is a negative split course, actually. It's just less of a negative split than most people do. So you still have to hold back that first, 8 miles a little bit, only to save your quads and hamstrings for the second half is way harder. But it's a very manageable course, and it's so much fun. Like I don't even know how you can. I mean, it's just so fun.
The people.
So fun.
Can't wait.
People loud, screaming, always.
It's a national holiday. I mean, granted, they
Right.
put it on that. They put, for race day on, and everybody's off work and school. And it's just a
Yeah.
huge
Even
party.
if you go to work, if you live in Boston, nobody's at work.
Because you're from there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maine, and I went to college in Boston, so I'm like, and I moved back there for a while. So yeah, we'd party like it was a big party every year. People go to the Red Sox game, and it's fun.
I can't
And you're a
wait.
celebrity. Like Boston people just love the Boston Marathon, so they just make you feel like you're superhuman, which is kind of cool.
But you kind of are.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before. Marathoners, you're doing something that your body, you're more superhuman than what your body's really expected to do, and then you do it at an elite level, taking you to Boston. So
Yeah.
you are superhuman.
It is. It is. It's a cool course. It's fun. I'm excited for
wait.
you guys. It'll be fun.
Well, you should see my closet. I'm all like Bostoned out already. Got everything. When my husband first ran it in 2012, and I remember we went to the expo, and I was looking at, we read the official merchandise. I'm like, oh, look at this shirt. I'm not paying $40 for a shirt. Look at this jacket. I'm not paying it. I said, and I told him then, this is 2012.
You better start
Just-
saving.
That's what I said. I said, when I come, I'm buying everything. So yeah, I've been saving for 10 years.
You deserve it.
Anytime Adidas or anybody comes out with something, I'm buying it.
You
Yep.
deserve
I have all
it.
the
And
gear.
they have even better stuff at the expo. The expo is insane. I go, and when I go every year, because I always bring my clients, and we do a jacket ceremony. Like if they qualify,
it.
like I have 4 going this year, so it's an expensive endeavor. But we do a whole ceremony at the expo, and the expo's just huge, and there's so much stuff. But I have a superstition that I won't buy anything with the year on it unless I've run the race. So I'll buy Boston gear, but if it has the year, nope, that's off limits.
This is my thought, okay? Adidas needs, they need me in marketing, because what they need to do, one of the things, every year they come out with the jackets of different colors.
Yep.
But everyone loves that classic blue and gold.
Yes.
They should make that without a year and sell it every year.
Oh, yeah.
Because we'd buy our year, but we'd also buy the classic one too. I don't know. They should
Listen
do
up,
that.
Adidas. Listen up. You're getting top knowledge right here.
From someone who is going to be out on the course. And Tia, so bringing it back to Black Girls Run, do you know if there's a contingency at Boston with Black Girls Run, or do you think that you're just going to start it?
One of the things that they've done, Black Girls Run has a foundation. And they have charity bibs this year.
Okay,
so,
wonderful.
Yes,
Wow,
I'm
good.
super excited. So they do have some charity runners that will be raising money for some great charities for their foundation.
That's awesome.
So yeah, they've got that for Boston and Chicago this year. So that's exciting. So definitely have a group there that will all be part of the Black Unicorn Marathoners.
That's awesome.
I do love that name. And so talk about sort of the progression of Black Girls Run since you've been a part of it for so long.
Yes. When they started, it was just, it was small. Now they have almost 100 chapters all over the country. And I want to say over 250,000 women that are a part of it. And you just see it, again, when they do a meetup, we show up. Mm-hmm. We show up. So, Gate River Run, it's a 15K, and we'll probably have 400 or 500 people
I'll be there. I'll come over and
Awesome.
see you.
You will see the group. There will be a big
tent.
picture, a tent. And so I have definitely seen it with more of just running. They have groups that they run the Ragnar races, now ultras, triathlons, Ironman. So seeing women grow, and a lot of these women, if you ask them before joining Black Girls Run, they didn't even run. Now they're doing these amazing things. And you just, everywhere I go, if I travel, and I'll just pull up, let me see if there's a BGR group in the area. So like my grandmother lives in Columbia, South Carolina. So when I visit her, I know where the group runs. I know. So I know I can just jump in and join their group anywhere I am in the country.
And they have regular run times.
They have meetups all over. Like just in Tampa, they have, I want to say there's maybe 7 or 8 different meetups during the week. Mm-hmm. So just depending on where you live, from St. Pete to Riverview to Wesley Chapel, all over. So, and each city where they have chapters, they do that. So they have meetups. So there's something that everyone can attend. And this Friday, we are actually doing the Remember Ahmaud Arbery, who was killed when he was running. And so we have a meetup this Friday evening, and everyone's available at the Waterworks Park. And so we do that, and we run or walk 2.23 miles just to remember him. That's going to be an amazing meetup as well.
Well, we thank you for bringing the representation and being the person that people can see and know that then they can be a part of this. What brings us so much joy, this long distance running I just want more people to feel the joy.
Yeah, and one thing I appreciate about you, Tia, is that you have your Black Girls Run, but she's in every run group.
Yes.
Like Tia is everywhere.
She is everywhere, and yes.
All of our run groups need to be more diverse. Mm-hmm. Like they just do. We should all be including more people. So, and I don't think we intentionally don't include people, but we all need to be more inclusive. So, I love that
I try to be everywhere.
She is everywhere, and I always appreciate that about her.
I just love the running community.
Yeah.
So much, and that's why I say it just brings me joy. People's, oh, you're doing another half. This is what I love to do.
Yeah.
That's my dress up time.
It's the only time you're allowed to be promiscuous, Tia, is when you're floating between run clubs.
Yeah,
right?
that's right. Exactly.
You're allowed to do that in a safe way.
Right.
It does bring a lot of joy. And you do
does.
meet so many people, and we need to be, it's going to make the community only better as more
Absolutely.
groups come to be a part of it. And that's something that you're really doing, and we really appreciate.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so it's time for Coach's Drill. So, Tia, you've known Maria for a while. She has thoughts on things.
Yeah,
So
I do.
we've given her a minute that she gets to have a thought.
minute.
Ooh.
1 minute. And so today's Coach's Drill, we've been talking a lot about racing.
Yeah.
What to do when race season is over.
So you're coming up on race season being over, and I have a lot of people that have had a really good race season, and they're all on this high, and they're like, I love racing. It's so fun. But I'm here to remind you that race season next year depends on what you do now. So when you come off race season, you want to take a little bit of a breather and a break, and then you want to get right back into base building through the summer. Don't quit now. If you quit now, your race season next year is not going to be as good. So focus on changing your mileage, upping the amount of easy runs you do, and adding a little strength work, trying to get a little bit more balance work and core work. And so you can go right back into race season next year and be breaking those PRs. No quitting.
No quitting. The whole time, by the way, Tia was nodding her head as a coach.
Yeah.
Yes, please don't quit over the summer because it's hard in the summer.
Yeah,
Yes, it
and the fall PRs depend on the summer. It's the summer is where it's at, and you can get so many benefits even if you just run easy. You don't have to even do any workouts if you don't want to. You can run easy, and you'll still do better.
Because that's a workout in the summer heat.
If you 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is.
All right. Well, Tia, thank you so much. And hopefully this got to celebrate Black History Month. And we'll see you at Gasparilla Distance Classic this weekend. You'll be holding up your little sign.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
All right. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye.